I be ballin'. Road to William, I be ballin'. Hey, what up? It's I be ballin' basketball show. And we're gonna review one of my favorite all time, dear to my heart movies, classic from the 90s, Fresh. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you guys gotta go see it. Find it on your TV, find it on your app, find it at the library.
Pluto.
Just go. Okay.
Pluto TV. Free.
Oh, okay. $3.99. See, no excuse. This is just such a masterpiece to me. So we're gonna review it. It came out in 1994, and it's definitely a coming of age movie. It's about a young boy. He deals drugs, and he's trying to navigate the world around him. And it's set in Brooklyn, so you get to see the Brooklyn setting and scenery, and you get to see a lot of crime around him, a lot of violence, and you get to see how he navigates to try to free himself from that. And it's an awesome masterpiece. I think it's amazing. But before we start, let me introduce my guest, William, from Road to William. Tell him about your channel.
Road to William. I do movie reviews. I do show reviews, interviews, vlogs. I do it all. So if you want something to watch, learn something, grow, come over to my channel. We be vibing over there. Don't be shy.
Hey, awesome channel. A lot of black icons that some I know, some I don't know. Great interviews, and you just learn more about the culture. And also, C to the K to the I to the D. Music is out on music platforms. Go support my cousin with the channel and the music. So,
I'm tryna ring the bell. I'm tryna make a sell. I'm tryna tell these niggas I need a motherfucking wishing well.
it's a great movie. It has Samuel Jackson in it. I just think the acting was superb. It added a lot of emotion. And I feel like this movie is about a young kid in an adult world and how he's trying to survive. It talks about his dreams, but it also echoes just a lot of crime and violence and poverty. So what I like to do with my movie reviews is, if you could describe this movie in one word, what would it be? Survival mode. Well, that's a 2 word. I'll just say survival mode. I'll say 2 words. You could do 2 through 3 words,
I say strategic.
Oh, okay. Strategic. And I think I know where you got that from. Because Samuel Jackson is the dad in this movie. And he mainly sees his dad right as a mentor, but also a male figure, but also they're playing chess together a lot. And Fresh uses the drug game as a chess game, basically, to try to survive, right? And I thought that was very strategic of him to be in survival mode. Hey, one word. So I want to talk about, like, do you have like a favorite scene or a favorite character?
Oh man, it's gotta be fresh. It's gotta be fresh.
Gotta be fresh. Hey, talk about it. Why is he your
He
favorite
showed you
character?
like a way. I think okay. I think what happens is like movies that are similar to this, and that it's talking about the game and the street life. They always talk about like, oh, I want to get out, but like they never really do. And so I think I liked his character because he found a way out, and he wasn't hung up on the glitz and the glamour that come with it. Like he wasn't hung up on the money. He wasn't hung up on. He was still a kid, so he didn't care about cars and all that. Even bikes. Like he didn't care about materialistic. He had a goal to like get his family out. Like, and his sister was his only family. So I liked his character because he had a one track mind. Like he knew from the jump. He was a smart kid. He knew what he wanted. He got it. He got out the game, and he got his sister out too. He didn't just do it for himself. He did it for his sister as well.
Yeah, I would say my favorite character is Fresh. You know, it's named after him. I think because he has a lot of different layers to him. Like obviously, to be like a young like 12-year-old in a drug game, you have to. He knows how to talk to the adults, and he also knows how to talk to the kids, his friends, and his potential love interest, right? And he he displays like that toughness and grit and the street smarts and the street intelligence, but he's also, you kind of do see him scared. You see his emotions. You see like vulnerability because he is just a kid. So he has different layers to him. So I think that's what I like about him. But a close second is Chucky because he's just funny. I got the stupid juice. I bust the stupid moves. Just the way he was be talking was funny to me. I forgot to say that Sean Nelson is the character, I mean the actor that plays Fresh. Um so I wanted to get that in there. But also I wanted to talk about Esteban. I'm not gonna pronounce the actor correctly, but he's amazing. He's played in a lot of roles. He's even in the Far Cry video game. Um, Giancarlo Esposito. That's the best I can do, y'all. That's the best I could do. He plays the local drug lord that you know Fresh has to break away from, especially break his sister away from because he Esteban has an infatuation with his sister. But oh, and Samuel Jackson is the chess champion, and his father. And his sister is Nicole, but her real name is Nabushi or Nabushe, right? I I'm not good at pronouncing names, y'all. I'm sorry. But she comes back into the picture. So Fresh is living with his auntie and a lot of his cousins. And that's what I also love about this movie. It's showing it the scenery showed how it is living in Brooklyn and the ghetto, the graffiti, the streets, but it also showed how packed the house was, living in an apartment, multiple mouths to feed. There was even a scene where the cousin was like, "Yo, don't mess this up for us, Fresh. We don't want to go back to the group home. you know, you my cousin, I love you, but come on." And the auntie did the best he could. I mean, best she could. And eventually, it got rough because he kept. What I want to ask you is, what do you think was the final straw for him? Because he kept seeing different deaths, right? But also, I think what was a little scary to him was the fact that Esteban and also the other drug lord that he was, pinning them against each other. They both said in the movie, one of them was like, "You not the man yet, but when you get older, you're gonna be it." And even Esteban was like, "You're gonna be my right hand man." And I feel like that may have started like, do I really want to be in this forever when I'm older? And his friends were dying. So, what do you think was the final straw for him to be like, yo, I gotta find a way to get out?
I think it was a combination of things that happened that turned him in that way. Like, I know we keep bringing up power, universe, and stuff. Well, is that part of But like in Raising Kanan, we were trying to figure out from the beginning when Raising Kanan came out, like how did Juke turn out to be that way, that cold hearted? We're still trying to figure that out. But you can start to see like how it's building to her being cold hearted. I think for the movie Fresh, it was a combination. It was his environment with his family, not really having like his mom and dad at the house. Like, yeah, he got kids his age, but they're all in different circumstances. Like, yeah, none of them have their parents, but also they still have each other as siblings. Like, they have their own brothers and sisters living with them, whereas he didn't have his sister, and his sister was older. She had a drug problem. So I think it was his environment. I think it was his friend having to leave his friend while he had to save himself. It was, and I know you was going to talk about it, we get into it further, like the dog giving up something he loved too because of circumstances. So yeah, I think it was a combination of stuff that happened in order for him to turn out that way.
Yeah. So yeah, about the dog.
I was gonna say real quick that it was really his sister. I think that gave him a last straw because seeing her strung out like that and knowing that Esteban was taking advantage of her in that state, like you didn't love her. You loved that she was damn near passed out, and you could do what you want with her. And I think that's really what tipped him off the most.
Yep. A lot of treachery, betrayal. But yeah, that definitely has to change a person because he probably seen a lot of people strung out. But when it's your, relative, that's eye opening. And he didn't even want to talk about it. Chucky was like, "Did you see that?" He's like, "Shut up, man," or something. Because before she was gonna live with them, but she was like, "Nah, I'm too big for this house." But yeah, there was a lot of different final straws, and I think I think the dog symbolized like, cause at first Chucky is the one that wanted the dog to fight. He didn't want the dog to fight, but I think the fact that he won the fight and kind of like bit the dog and won. I guess it was his way of sort of taking him out the game, or like taking the dog, freeing the dog from, because when dogs fight each other, it molds the dogs, because some people mold them to do all that fighting when really they're not really meant to be dog fighting like that. Michael Vick, not playing. I'm just playing Michael Vick. I'm just playing. But I think it was his way of freeing the dog from Like, okay, you experienced this, you killed another dog, now free yourself. I don't like that he killed the dog because I don't think, I'm a dog lover, but I think that's what it sort of symbolized. Like, let the dog go to doggy heaven. You done. Because his mentality is to fight now, right? Kill or be killed sort of mentality. But Fresh didn't want him to fight in the first place. But do you have like a favorite scene in the movie? I love the basketball scenes, of course, because that boy could play. That boy could ball. That ball handling, he could shoot it. I really like that. Um, I it's kind of hard for me to pick like any. I mean, just one scene because I really liked the whole movie, to be honest. Um, but I guess I just like the different dialogues, honestly. Like the dialogue between the father, like the father was an alcoholic, so that's probably why he doesn't have custody of Fresh. But I like the interaction between them and how he was teaching them chess, and Fresh was learning, that like, hey, you can't be scared because he was playing scared with his pawn, trying to protect his queen. And he's like, yo, don't be a hoarder. Sometimes some pawns, gotta fall by the wayside. So he was teaching him chess, but, kind of like life. But I also like, I love the scene at the end where he's lying on Esteban. I really like that because he's Fresh is a little actor. Like I feel like but it's survival mode. He's showing the different faces. Like when he introduced Chucky to Esteban, and Chucky was like, man, he wasn't feeling me, man. And he was like, no, he loved you. And he was putting on that, acting. And then he showed, his kind of like, oh, I'm stunned by this girl's beauty because he had a crush on a girl. So he showed that side to him. So I like the different sides to Fresh. Um, and I liked how he was convincing the other drug lord. I forgot his name, but he was like telling lies and he got away with it. So I liked those parts. Do you have a favorite scene?
Um, I think I have two. One is when he was talking to the girl, they were like, but it seemed like he was upset, but he was just really excited to talk to her, and he didn't realize how much they had in common. I thought that was a dope scene, but I ain't seen that movie in years, so I thought that was the scene where she was gonna get shot. I was like, oh my god, what's going on? But it wasn't. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But but then the second scene, and I just remembered this when you said it, like the scene with his dad in the chess, and he's teaching him how to play, and when he said, you're protecting your queen, but you can use, she just has a whole bunch of fancy moves. Like that's not really a person you want your king, And so I think he used his sister in that form, and like, because that's how he thinks of her. Like, okay, in a messed up way, I'm gonna use her in order to get us out this game because she's the one that's really gonna help us get out. And so I think those two scenes, that dog scene too, where you said that's not my favorite scene, but the dog scene where you were like, you didn't like that. I didn't like that either, but I thought, because I think it's different perspectives out there. For me, I thought he got rid of the dog because maybe he caught rabies from fighting or something. Like maybe he was sick because he looked bugged out. Okay, like Old
Okay.
Yeller. I don't know if y'all heard them. Old Yeller. Like he had to take
Oh
that
yeah.
because the dog had caught something. So I think That's what it reminded me of a little bit. But I mean, look why Will Smith in I Am Legend took that dog out. He caught rabies when he went in that little scary pit of them people. I think he caught something. But other than that, I think the movie was dope. But yeah, the chess scenes were probably my most favorite because you could tell that, like, especially at the end, like, because I wondered, like, yeah, why doesn't the father have them? But then it's like he's still in his life, and it's like I wonder how it would have been if Fresh didn't have him in his life at all. Because even though he wasn't in the house with them, he still was showing him the way of life, and it was really to be patient. But you could tell the dad he understood both types of life, the slow pace and the fast. Because when he was going over his chessboards with his son, the different chessboards he had at his house, he was like, "Yeah, but if we put the clock on them, if we put the time on them, they gonna fold." And I think, like, in that life, like, when the pressure comes, are you gonna fold? Like, you gonna know how to play the game, but are you, when the time, and it's a time crunch and you really gotta play that game, are you gonna make it or not? And I think his friend Chucky was kind of the ones where it was like, when the pressure is on, it's not about the acting cool. Like, he was trying to look the part, and he was, talking a good game to everybody. But when it came time to, like, hold that gun and shoot that, and really defend your life and your people's lives, you cracked. The pressure was on and you cracked. And Fresh knew in that moment, like, I'm either gonna die with him or I'm gonna live and help my sister and we get out of this mess. And that was just, I think the chess piece was like one of the key parts of the movie.
Yeah, I like that. And I think sports, well, sports and chess, it does reveal, like, what are you going to do when the clock's ticking and it's the fourth quarter, who's going to make the shot or who's going to let the pressure get to them. And I do like it when they add other elements like sports to teach things about life. But that brought up something good. Major themes in the movie is survival and morality. And I think Fresh was using Chucky. He didn't mean for Chucky to die, but he was using Chucky to spread different lies about the different drugs and stuff. But he did want Chucky not to be so stupid. Chucky shouldn't have pulled the gun. He's like, yo, if we get caught, drop the bag, understand, and run. Chucky didn't do that, so now it's about, okay, I gotta survive, but morally, I don't want my friend to die. I don't want anyone to die morally, but I have to survive. So I think he was using Chucky, but he didn't mean for Chucky to get the gun out and stuff. But that just shows that every 12-year-old can't handle the drug business and all that. That just shows how special Fresh was, his maturity and his street intelligence, like not trying to be bad and like, yeah, look at what I can do. Like, no, man. But also, he was getting beat up by Chucky's friend. It's your fault, and so you gotta kind of live with that morally, but at the same time, you gotta survive, And those are like the harsh realities of life and the drug game.
Mhm.
Um, so how would you rate like the acting? I rate the acting like an A plus plus because Esteban, like, I don't know like what um acting roles he had back then. I just know he's very popular now, right? He's like in, isn't he in like Call to Saul or something like that? But he's in a lot of roles now, but I don't know if he was in a ton of roles like in the 90s. But you even see Samuel Jackson, he's big now. So I think the acting was superb. I think everybody from the kids to the adults did A++ work. How you feel about the acting?
I enjoyed the acting a lot. I think anytime Samuel Jackson is in it, I always like to see how people act with him, because he is one of the OGs in acting. Also, the guy who played Esteban, he's also an actor I keep in the back of my head. He was in one of my favorite shows on Netflix, but they unfortunately stopped it with the that hip hop one. I forgot, but
To Get
To
Down?
Get Down, yeah, To Get Down, and the acting was on point from the kids to the adults. Even his freshest sister. Um, I think everybody just played their part. Even the aunt, I think she was their aunt. She has small roles, but you could feel the love as if that's her real nephew or real family. Um, yeah, though the acting, I also give it A+ extra credit. Because I like when movies you can't tell they're acting. You almost like you get caught up in it. Like, oh, like okay, he didn't really kill that dog, but it felt like it. Okay, it was more raw. Like I feel like nowadays, if something happened like that, they wouldn't show you um, the dog hanging. But now, but is it what? Who made this film?
Oh, the director, I don't know how to pronounce this name. Baz Yakin.
Okay, I feel like um, they did a lot of raw cut shots. Like even the scene where Chucky was about to get gunned down, I was like, oh man, like you could feel the intensity of it all. So I really like that.
Yeah, that brings another great point what I was gonna say. Good segues, cuz good segues. So I wanna talk about the cinematography and the different shots and the different directing. Shout out to my auntie May. She's like, you guys need to improve your movie reviews. Well, I'm improving. I was watching Fresh and I'm looking at, the directing and the scenery. So I noticed that a lot of I shout out to the director. I'm going to say BY. But it was I noticed different angles from the rooftops where the drug dealers were. I was noticing the different angles from inside the car. I was noticing different shots and different layers. I noticed how in the beginning there was all these different um objects, and then all of a sudden there was graffiti everywhere. And I also liked how there was different parts that added the intensity, like you said, and the tension. There was different parts. So one part was the shading. I noticed like sometimes, especially like when he was running and Chucky got shot, you could see him running, but you could also see another scene. So it was like two scenes, but it was like different shades, especially sometimes when Fresh would like think about his special place, like when he brought Chucky to a special place and he was like, "It's quiet here." He would always think of like train tracks, and it would be him, but it would also be the train tracks and the different shades. I noticed that from the directing, so that was dope. I also love the music. If you notice, there was a lot of different instrumentals. So, and the instrumentals added a lot, like especially um when they were doing drugs, there would be like a certain instrumental that would come on, and it would show fresh in action. It would show like, okay, this is how it was, like it was a representation of like, okay, this is how Fresh is handling business. And I also like how he wasn't afraid to ask for more money, because he's like, I'm putting in this work. But also, the instrumental in the beginning, it kind of seemed calm to me, like, okay, this is calm. But there were certain scenes where the instrumentals would dictate the scene, especially the running scene, that it was like an intense instrumental. And so I definitely noticed that. And I don't think I would notice that if it wasn't for improving my movie reviews. So that was good. So did you notice like the instrumentals and the different sounds that would add like sort of like urgency in certain scenes?
I can't recall right now, but um, yeah, I did notice it wasn't like words in it, which sometimes is a good thing because sometimes the words can tell you what's going on instead of you coming to the conclusion on your own. And I did like how in the beginning of the movie it was empty land, and then it showed you how a city grows into how it is now, like you said. And I just thought of it like it kind of showed you what Fresh was dealing with, like starting from scratch. How are you going to build yourself starting from scratch? Um, and the train tracks, it for me like represented like a way out, like uh, a different way out. Um, but the Fresh film, the the way they shot it, there was this one scene, especially the basketball scenes were always intense. It was always intense with basketball, especially with that kid playing, which was unfortunate how his life ended, but it was like one of them, that's what happens in the hood type shit. Like ego. Like the death of that kid was ego driven. And but it was also karma too, you know.
Oh yeah.
Karma plays
Yeah,
in
it is.
favor. If you get the cards dealt, how are you gonna play it, you know? And he got back all the people that hurt him, you know. And but yeah, overall good film. Definitely good film.
Yep, it's very thought provoking, gripping, powerful. The acting was A plus. Mwah. It was everything you could want in a movie. There was some parts that was lighthearted, um, but it definitely showed you the crime and the drama, you know, unfortunately, and also, how you got to be like smart. And I like the teacher, how the teacher talked to the students. I'm like, dang, why she gotta talk to the students like that? But I like that scene. But overall, I give it a A. The directing, the scenery, everything, the music, the actors, the story plot, everything was just fresh.
Hmm.
It was fresh and so clean, clean. Overall, it was a great movie. I want another movie like this. I mean, it don't gotta be like this, particularly like a young drug dealer movie, but just overall, like every piece was good. Like the dialogue was good, right? The directing, the actors, everything was A+. Not one thing was off. And I just feel like everything fit. And I feel like some movies are lacking of this. I definitely give it a 5 out of 5. How would you rate this?
Rating it probably 4 out of 5.
Okay, 4 out of 5. That's good.
4 out of 5. That's how I'm feeling.
All right. That's good. That's still an 8 in my book. You know, a B would be like a 3 for me. But hey, I really liked it. It shows a lot of resilience, but it also shows, you know, some people don't make it out. But overall, it was great. Thank you, Cuzzo, for joining me. And it was definitely dope and fresh. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Also, go to the Road to William RTW and go check out C to the K to the I to the D. The music is lit. Do you want to shout out your socials?
Social, I'm on Road to William on IG. My music one is C Kid Forever with the number 4. And I'll be on Facebook too, but Snapchat William Road 22. I'll be on Snapchat. I gotta get back on there again, but
Yeah, I gotta. It's just so many apps, man. So they got X.
TikTok, Road to William. I'll be on TikTok.
Yeah. So, any last words?
No, pretty good movie. I'm gonna switch it to 5 out of 5 because I was thinking like, what didn't I like about it? But the story holds up. The different ways they shoot it holds up. How like characters enter into a scene. I think that calls for good grounds of a 5 out of 5. The acting superb. So it didn't. Anytime it doesn't feel like I'm watching a movie, it's probably gonna be a 5 out of 5. The only thing I didn't like about the movie is his haircut, but everything can't be perfect. And he wasn't supposed to have a dope haircut, no. So that's
true.
fine. But if it's a movie and they all, then I'm gonna have something to say about it. But other than that, like the kids, they dress. I like how it was different varieties of the characters. Like no one really dressed the same. Everybody had their own like.
That's true.
They were their own character. They weren't trying to be like each other. Although Chucky, on the other hand, that's a whole other story. But even he had his own swag. Everybody had their own swag. That's what I love the most. And I think they should put out a movie kind of like this. Like you said, don't mimic it, copy paste.
Right.
But like Dope is kind of like a more upscaled version if we had to compare.
Yeah, coming of age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tyler Perry, you need to do it. Or Spike Lee. Spike Lee did one, Crooklyn.
Yeah. Come together.
Yeah,
See what that would be like. We know how y'all work, separate. Come together. Mm-hmm. Switch it up. They didn't think Bronny would go to the Lakers, but look. Now we got to see how they play together.
Oh, boy.
Switch it up.
Yeah, I need another captivating movie. I need it. And, it don't gotta be well-known actors.
That's another thing. Like, we didn't know Samuel Jackson wasn't Sam back then.
right? Esteban. I mean,
None of them. Yeah.
yeah.
None
Even
of
Sean Nelson, he was just, he was just a little kid, So it's all about that storytelling, yo. Do you guys got it? Or do you just want to go for the big names and the copy paste already did it in Hollywood movies? Or are you gonna come up with something unique? I don't know. But yo, everybody stay ballin' and keep it fresh, yo. Peace.